Hello, and welcome to the Cryptocurrency News Channel. Today, we're actually going to talk about the XRP pumping at Upbit and Bitbank, and there could be more large pumps coming, but based on the pattern and what we actually witnessed in May. And we're going to talk about when to actually take profits, and then we're also going to talk about the Bitcoin ETF. It's getting to be almost kind of a meme now, but we got to talk about it because it is important to all of crypto. So if you actually look at the price right now, it's above 30 cents. And looking at the one-day graph, it actually has had a series of pumps. One here, and then one here. And you can actually trace them to the growing volume that's there. But the last pump especially is definitely originating from Korea and Japan. And you can actually look at the exchanges that are actually moving up. And if you look at right now, Upbit is number 5 in terms of volume, and Upbit was number 15 in volume yesterday. So it moved up all the way from like number 15 to number 5. There has been a huge injection of volume into Upbit once Korea and Japan actually woke up. And this actually happened back in May as well, when Upbit actually did it. When Upbit actually did this, and remember, we got nearly a 40% pump in May, so we could actually get a 40% pump this time. That's not guaranteed, and where I would actually sell to actually take profits with your swing stack, I never recommend selling your entire stack of XRP, but if you want to take some swing trading profits and try to buy back in later at a lower price, I would keep track of the one-day chart of volume, and when the volume seems to start edging down, that's when I would actually sell it. Because if you actually look at last May, that was a pretty good key to sell as well. Once the volume started going down, the Bitcoin ratio started going down too. Now, the fiat value actually held for a while, but that's because Bitcoin was going up at that time. But the Bitcoin ratio went straight down in terms of Bitcoin XRP after the volume started dropping. I'm going to guess that's probably what's going to happen this time as well, because this has a lot of similarities to the May pump of XRP as well. This latest segment of the pump actually does come from Korea and Japan. I don't think it's because of Line, because Upbit is the exchange that actually came up the most in terms of volume, and BitMax is really not. If I look at Fiat Leak, it's mainly Bitbank. So there's definitely Korea and Japanese FOMO in the last pump that brought it up from like 2,800 sats to nearly 3,000 sats. Will we get a repump when US wakes back up in like 8 hours? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. We'll have to see at that point. But remember, the last pump in May actually lasted several days, and actually it got repumped in the second week and a little bit in the third week before the prices actually went downward. I think this is actually timed very well because swell is coming up in November, and then once these pumps start dying out, we'll get kind of a swell uprising. So it is like a swell pump. So it is kind of dangerous to sell at this point, but I actually did sell my swing stack earlier this morning. I didn't actually pay attention to the volume, which is my fault, because I just woke up, saw it was like up 15% or something, or saw it was up 10%, and then just basically like sold at that point. I'm not really that worried. If I have to wait a month or two for it to fall back down, I actually will. XRapid volume and utilization is not really there yet where it would actually affect price. So I'm pretty sure this is like a FOMO rally or pump, whatever you want to call it. So I do believe that it might keep pumping for a while, and we might actually get as much as 40% gains. But for those of you that are swing trading, you have to keep track of the volume down here. Once the volume starts going down, you do want to sell out because it is probably going to start to retrace unless you're willing to wait for swell. I'm not really sure if swell will pump. Swell will actually pump it. I don't think they're going to announce anything at CBOS, because if Ripple wants to announce something, it'll probably be at their own conference. They might give us some more insight into their numbers. But right now, we are around 3,000 Satoshi, and we might have to depend on the second day pump from the US to actually get a clear past 3,000 Satoshi. Remember, the last May pump during the first week, it pumped on 3 consecutive days. So we could actually go up significantly more, maybe into the mid 30s in terms of price. But at some point you will want to sell, because just like in May when the pump stopped, the Bitcoin ratio fell at first, and then the USD value fell as well. So you probably will want to take some profits with the swing stack at some time, but when you take the profits will probably be when you see this volume start heading downward. Because right now you probably still don't want to sell right now because it's still heading upward, but when you start to see it going downward, that's probably when you want to sell. So that's actually my thoughts on this XRP pump from Bitcoin, from Bitbank and Upbit, especially Upbit. The second leg of the pump, the U.S. morning pump, I'm not really sure if it's going to take effect the second day, but if it does, it could be somewhat substantial as well. And I actually do expect maybe some repumps around maybe 5-6 o'clock. Maybe 5-6 o'clock each night for like at least 1 or 2 days, because that's what happened in May with Japan and Korea. I do think XRP eventually will be successful, but I don't think the XRapid volume really is there yet. And I think that Coinbase rumor is completely unsubstantiated, and it's just someone on Reddit actually starting it. I couldn't find any kind of news on it. But XRP could be added to BitPay in early Q4, and that actually might help it as well, because I think that's what caused Ethereum to pump the other day. So that is the news for XRP, and now let's go on to the ETF. So the VanEck SolidX ETF was actually withdrawn. I did actually expect them to do this because I was pretty sure it was going to get rejected next week. And because I think it is going to get rejected next week, not next week, next month, they actually withdrew it before it got rejected. But I think it's becoming kind of a meme now. No one really cares about this ETF. It would really boost the market if it passed, but even if it got rejected, I don't think anyone would really be surprised, and it probably wouldn't hurt the market all that much. There is no way we're going to get an ETF in 2019. We'll be lucky to get one in 2020. Maybe we'll get one when Jay Clayton's out of the way in 2021. Who knows? But the Bitcoin ETF has been withdrawn, and that's kind of a downer, but I think everyone expected it, so it's really not that much of a downer. So that is the news for today. Like and subscribe and hit that bell notifications button, and also join me on my 2 daily streams every day. Thank you, and have a nice day.